Hello everyone, Deanna here. So, as you can see, I'm not in my room or in my dorm room. I'm in the library, actually. And today I'm going to review Fangirl. There might be some spoilers in this review, so if you haven't read Fangirl yet, exit out of this review and then come back later. Okay, to kind of summarize Fangirl, it's about this girl, Kath, who she and her twin sister, Ren, are going to college. And Kath and Ren have kind of been attached at the hip for their entire lives. And they kind of do everything together. They're both huge fans of this series called Simon Snow, which is kind of the equivalent of Harry Potter. And they've read all the books, they write a ton of fan fiction together, and they're actually quite famous in the fan fiction world for their writing. And when Kath and Ren go to college, Ren decides that she doesn't want to room with Kath, which is what they had always been planning on. And so this story is how Kath deals with not having her sister and what happens when she starts to fall in love with a boy and that kind of thing. Alright, for everyone who's read or does not want to read Fangirl, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I hadn't read a Rainbow Rowell book before, and I was pleasantly surprised. I had heard that they were really good, but I just hadn't read one yet. My friend Natalie is a huge fan of Rainbow Rowell, and I was like, alright, I gotta read one of her books. So I started with Fangirl. As I am part of the Tumblr fandom scene, I really enjoyed how Rainbow Rowell portrayed all of the fanfiction and the writing of fanfiction, and how much that Kath was in love with Simon Snow, and it reminded me of myself a lot. Not necessarily the writing of fanfiction, but reading fanfiction and getting into the whole scene in the fandom and interacting with other people in the fandom. As this is a contemporary novel, there was a lot of romantic aspects to it, a lot of real world aspects to it, especially the going to college part I really connected with because I just started college, and I really liked that the romance was raw, it was real. It wasn't forced, it wasn't part of some big scheme to make this look like a contemporary novel and then really turn into hardcore romance of any sort. It was just real and flawless and effortless. And I really liked how Rainbow Rowell transitioned into the romance and looked into the turmoils of Kath's life without Ren, and it was an honest book. It was fantastic. Another thing I really enjoyed was the dynamic between Kath and Ren, because they're twins, but they're kind of total opposites, or end up being. I like how Ren kind of comes out of her shell. She's always been protected by Kath, and they've kind of always gone off of each other, and when they go to college and Ren wants to be her own person, I felt bad for Kath, especially because she was the narrator, and so she's telling this story as being heartbroken by Ren not wanting to be her roommate, but I really respected Ren's choice to not room with her twin sister and to come out of her shell a little bit. Even though that gets her into trouble, she does learn a valuable lesson, and I think she experiences a lot of the things that kids going to college experience, because you're on your own for the first time and you're exposed to no parental control. There's a ton of alcohol, partying, a lot of negative things that are around that could be positive things in moderation, but it's just overwhelming. And so Ren just gets caught up in the party scene and in the drinking, and that happens to people. I've seen it a ton of times, and you just kind of have to be smart about it, and she wasn't. I think so far as like my favorite character goes, Levi was my favorite character. He was always there for Kath and constantly kind of pining after Kath, but not in a creepy way or a too romantic way. It was more of a, like, I'm your best friend and you need me, and like, you keep trying to get away from me even though I know you like me. That kind of a thing. And he was just super cute and just everything that Kath needed, even though she didn't know that. Overall, I think I give this 4 out of 5 stars. It isn't the best book that I've ever read in my life, and I only give 5 stars to books that like change my life or are absolutely just some of the most fantastic books I've ever read. But this is definitely up there, and I don't normally read contemporary, but I really enjoyed this, and I think I'm going to read more by Rainbow Rowell. If you haven't checked out our Bookstagram, you would not know that I'm reading Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I'm not that far into it, and I'm kind of okay with it. I'm not really too intrigued. I'm not sure how much I like Eleanor as a character. I mostly just feel bad for her, honestly, and I don't really feel an emotional connection. Park's cute, he's just kind of a dork, but I don't really feel a connection to him either. So I guess we'll see how this goes. I'm kind of excited to get into like the meat of the book, unless I'm already there, which I'm a little disappointed. But we'll see how this goes. So I'll see you in the next video.